Hello everyone! In today's video, we are going to be celebrating Erin Jacobson's or Crafty Concepts with Erin's 30K subscribers here on YouTube. That is a huge accomplishment and so well deserved. I know she's an inspiration to a lot of us here on YouTube. I think all her layouts are amazing. I fell in love with her more adventurous, outdoorsy layouts, and I know I've applied a lot of her designs in my own layouts. So I'm so excited to be participating in this collaboration. So the layout I'm going to be scraplifting is something she posted quite recently, and I fell in love. Like, normally there's always like elements I'm like, oh, I'm going to do this or this. This whole layout, I would do everything the exact same way. I love the color combination of I think this is a beautiful gallery paper. It's also 6x6 paper. I loved all the tones together. I think this is just stunning. And honestly, I could do this just copy paste and I'd be so happy with it. However, just for the sake of this video, also to do something a little bit different, I thought just to take this sketch or this design and apply it with the Boho Vibes 6x6 paper. I know this is a totally different vibe. This is very romantic. I love everything about it. This is definitely more, I feel like this kind of gives me like 90s vibes. So I'm just going to put this to the side. But I also really like that sketch to use for 6x6 paper because it brings in different of the papers and the elements, and I think it just has a really unique way of incorporating all these different designs in your layout without being too much. So I've kind of fanned them out right here, and I love the colors in these in this paper set or in this DSP. It's got some mossy meadows, Cajun craze, some of that. I don't know what this is. I have it on my little piece of paper here. So the color combination is Cajun craze, cloud cover, which is a new in color, daffodil delight, mossy meadows, petal pink, and secret sea, which is also one of the new in colors. And I think these colors work so well together. So I'm just going to scooch all this over. And the paper that I'm going to focus on specifically today is I just selected a couple of them. So I love this print. I have like two on options here. So I like this one or this one. I think I'm going to go with the stripy paper. This one, and then I love these little like polka dot designs. And then either I'm going to do the little polka dots here, but I thought that might be a little bit too same. So I think I might do the stripes. And then this is probably one of my favorite papers within the paper pack. It's this Mossy Meadows design. So I was thinking of using these as the little papers that go across the top. And then I'm definitely just going to use some white cardstock as my base paper. So let me just scooch all this over and grab my cardstock and then just see how we're going to place everything. All right, so I've got my white cardstock down here, and the photos I want to use today that I felt like worked so well with the paper pack it's for our Pacific Northwest trip, and it's like all the photos that relate to when we were in the car, because a big part of this trip was just like the fact that this was just one massive road trip. And I know this sounds maybe a little bit silly, but a lot of the times that we were in the car were a lot of our great memories of the trip. We saw a lot, and I just wanted to document that because I really liked a lot of these, as you can see in the pictures, a lot of the scenery that we saw when we were just out and about. So I got a few pictures here. I'm not sure if I'm going to use all of them. But the main stamp set I wanted to use for today's layout is this close to my heart stamp set called Road Trip, which I love this when it came out. I know it's going to be such a versatile set, so I definitely want to use this in today's layout. So I'm just going to scooch these all up and bring in back some of that paper that we're going to use in today's layout. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm just going to place them here at the top so we can kind of determine which ones we want to use. Like, I'm probably set on these, and then either this paper or there's this like really cool squiggly line paper. I think it's one of the back sides of these. Hang on. I think it's this one. No, that's all the stripy design. So I might do either this combination. Oh, it's right here. or this one, which I also like because remember, we're only taking a little small section of this paper. And when you take this, you only of course have certain colors of the lines. However, I do feel like you have enough in there. So I think I am going to go with that just because this is a small print. I like that this is kind of like a thicker pattern versus these prints right here. And then in terms of the cardstock I want to use going across, I took out a couple. First I was thinking about this red, but I feel like that's just a little bit too much. I don't know if I'm that daring, but I might bring in this red just as like some photo mats because I do like the contrast with these papers. And then this is some sapphire from Close to My Heart, but I feel like that leans just a little bit too blue. So I might just stick with the Secret Sea. I was nervous that was going to be too similar to the blue paper right here, but I don't think I mind that as much. It's also just one of the papers that is within the DSP. I don't feel like if it was all of them, it would just be a little bit too much, same. So I think I'm going to go with Secret Sea. And then what I also want to do is incorporate some of this paper. Now, I wasn't too sure with the fact that we have the lines going down here, so I might still bring in some of that old paper that we were looking at. But I thought what would be cute, what kind of would be cool and similar to that 90s vibe I feel with this whole road trip thing that we want to do, is to have this kind of coming down like that, and then on the other side we would have this piece coming down right here, and I would just have a little bit of the white that I would cut alongside so there's enough of a contrast with the blue. I'm not too sure, so we're probably going to just see how this page starts turning out. But I'm definitely going to commit with these. I do like them. I can always use the other paper, but I'm going to cut it up just to see how it all looks. I think her pieces were approximately 2-inch. That's what I'm going to cut them down to, and then I can always see, and I think she probably just cut half of the paper. So I'm just going to cut all these down into 2-inch strips, and then we can kind of see how everything is looking. All right, I've gone ahead and cut down our little strips or paper strips, and I'm just going to place them in the sequence that I was thinking. So as in Erin's layout, she's placed them all just next to one another, which I think I'm going to do the exact same thing, being a little bit mindful for the designs. I don't want to put the exact same type, or if it's like smaller design, I don't want to put that next to one another. So I think I'm just going to do this, scooch that up. And then for the main cardstock piece, which is a Secret Sea, I've cut it down to the same measurements that she did it, which is 8 by 11.5, which needs to scooch down right here. And then we have these pieces sticking out. I think that actually looks really nice. The only thing I'm wondering, so we have these coming across. All right, the only thing I'm wondering is if we want to bring in some of that red as like actual matte instead of just like little photo mats, but I think that's going to be too much. I think I'm going to just keep it with these little strips. And then I will probably just copy the same thing over to the other side. I'm going to go ahead and map my pictures, and then we'll see where we want to add our embellishments. All right, I've gone ahead and adhered everything down. The only thing I did add was just some mossy meadows that I inked up around the edges of these little pieces, just so they have a little bit more contrast in between them. And then in terms of my photo mats, I actually did decide not to go with the red because I wanted to have the red more in my embellishments. And I actually adhered some of my photos down on honey butter. So I thought that was a nice, or I liked how it brought in some of that yellow color. So I didn't do everything because I do want it to have it a little bit flip-flopped. Because I feel like this whole layout is very colorful and I like the colors, and I like how this creates some of that fun elements of the different papers up above in our little photo mats. So the next thing I'm gonna adhere down is this little piece that we talked about in the beginning. This is literally just cut out from one of the DSP papers. So I'm just gonna slide that behind here. Oh, I like how that looks. That is cool. And then I went ahead and stamped and die cut out a bunch of the road trip stamp and dies. I did it in 3 colors: Mossy Meadows, Harbor, which is a close to my heart color. Secret Sea is very similar. And then Apple Spice, and I think you could definitely just use Cajun Craze. I didn't have anything like it, and I felt like this was very similar. So these were the 3 colors I used. I often do this when I can't like determine right off the bat which color I want. I was playing around with it a little bit already, and I definitely want my title to be this red. Just I like that pop of color against the green and the blue. And then I love these little squiggly road lines. I just fussy cut that out because it doesn't have a corresponding die, and I want to have that like coming across here at the bottom, something like that. I'm not too sure how many elements I want because the paper's quite busy, so I don't want to go overboard with my embellishments for this page. I looked at Erin's video, and actually in terms of embellishments, there's not too much going on, and I want to do something similar. So scooch that up. I did want to hide this like cut off piece from the paper because it's just cut out from the DSP paper. So I love these little like enjoy the journey, and I do want to like alternate between colors. I don't want this to be too much. So I might just stick with the red for that because it's a bigger piece, and I actually kind of like how that looks. And then maybe to bring in some of the green, I can do some of the smaller elements like right here. I do really like that. That looks cute. And then I do want to bring more of these squiggly lines. I'm not sure if I want to have that continuing all across because it will actually overlap my photos a little bit here. I don't know, that might just be a little bit busy. I can just put it down and see. I can like make them connect like this. I don't know. Normally I would say yes, but with the added paper here at the bottom, I feel like this is already creating the border and this is just a bit much. So I'm gonna take that away and maybe just have a little piece here and create like a little embellishments cluster. Yeah, that looks cute. I like that. Can do something like that. And then there were a couple of like smaller elements in the little stamp set, like a little geotag, which I always love a good geotag. Not sure where I want to put this. Could do like a green one right here to bring in some more of that green. And then they also had these cute little arrows in the set, so I might just stick with the green so I'm not doing too much. I kind of like that. I don't know. Let's see. The other thing I found in my stash, which I really want to incorporate, is this sticker set. Very thick stickers though. Recollection, I think that's Hobby Lobby. I can't remember. I don't think I bought this too long ago though. But I loved the darker yellow elements in here. I definitely want to bring those in because that brings out the yellow in my page as well. And I love yellow. I think it's just a cheerful color. I love this little element. I cut it out just to see. That way we can kind of play around. We don't have to commit. I kind of like that, even though we technically weren't driving with the trailer. I like the look of this. That's cute. Let me just pop all these out. And then I definitely like the little yellow camera. So I might do that down here. Something like that. And then the little USA tag. That's cute too. Not too, nope. And then I do actually really like this little map. I don't know if I want the geotag as well. That might be a bit much. Let me just put that down. It says places to go, road trip, explore more, let's go adventure, enjoy the journey. Not sure if this is just too much words because we got a lot of sentiments going on, but I do like how it brings out that like mint color from the stripes here down below. And scooch that over. I kind of like that. I like the little road trip, this little like cluster going on. And then I would just hold off. Like that would be the max. I'm looking at these little other elements. There's also this little like road trip thing, but that just creates a lot of bulk though. We could probably take one of these off, but I kind of like the map. It just fits the theme really well. So I think that's what I'm going to commit with on the page. I don't want to go overboard because we have a lot of patterns going on. The only thing is maybe some dots. I did take out my close to my heart dots, so I might just add these in at the end. I got a couple colors here, but I really like this. I don't want it to be too busy. So I'm going to commit to this. I'm going to stick everything down and I'll be right back. All right, so I've adhered everything down. So I got our little cluster going. I've kept everything the same. The only thing is I did find these like cute little state stickers that I had, and I felt like the map was just a little bit too busy over here. So I thought it'd be kind of cute to do like Washington, Oregon, California, which were the 3 states that we drove through. So I'm just gonna put these up here because I think it just creates a little bit more balance to our page, because otherwise I did feel like it was a little bit much and overwhelming with the papers and the stickers and everything. So I'm just gonna have the 3 little states here. Oh, this isn't stuck down. So I'm gonna quickly pop this up on some foam tape. Because I feel like now also, because I'm definitely gonna forget, that's one thing. And then now it just, I feel like the title is more the focus point versus that little map that we had stuck down there. So I think that just looks, I don't know, I feel like that looks a little bit better, more cohesive. And then actually, I'm not going to stick this up on foam tape, the little geotag. I'm just going to stick this down straight to the page. Something like that. Perfect. And then I was starting to just add a couple of these little embellishments from Close to My Heart. I don't want to go too crazy, just a couple here and there. I might do like just the little dots. I also have these like cute little blue ones. I think the dark color, yeah, the dark color will work. Then again, actually this light color is also really pretty, but I don't want to introduce too many new colors. So I'm just going to do this navy color, which I'm realizing is not navy, but it works. It works. And then we also have this little yellow one that I might incorporate. I'm gonna just do green. I feel like it also comes in these little, that color comes in the little states here. But it's just not too much. Too much. All right. I think we are done. Oh no, sorry, we're not done. The only thing we're still missing is my little notes I want to add right here. All right, so I adhered everything down. I did film this next part kind of in better lighting, so hopefully that helps. And I reprinted my journaling with some black ink just because it's much more noticeable against the colored paper. But yeah, overall, I'm so happy with how this turned out. I think it just looks super cute. Kind of has like 90s vibes with the papers. And I feel like in this case, it gives off that feel, or for me, when I look at this. However, I feel like with the paper, you could go many different ways with this. There's so many different colors in it and patterns that you could make more of a like springtime layout, focusing on the lighter colors. But anyways, I'm just really happy how this turned out, and I'm happy I was able to scrapbook these memories, because I know they're just like car pictures, but they were actually kind of highlights of the trip for me. So again, I'm really happy I was able to take part in this collaboration celebrating Erin's 30K. So well deserved. I love all her videos. I definitely think she's a queen of embellishments, and she has like that magic touch. There's so many paper packs that she has used in the past that I was like, not really interested. And then she works her magic. I'm like, well, I gotta do it. So it's the hashtag what Erin made me do it. I feel like that has been something that I've definitely had happen to me in the past. But I'm also just really happy that, you know, scrapbooking is getting more and more popular. I always like when there's just more visibility to this amazing craft, because I love it so much. So I hope you guys loved this video. I think it was a quick and easy layout to put together. I think this is a great sketch to use when you have 6x6 paper, because you get to incorporate a lot of different papers within your DSP without being too busy, because you just have little elements of it. So definitely a super great sketch to use. So hope you guys liked the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment down below. I try to post at least once a week. So if you've liked my videos thus far, please subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out a lot. And then I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.